And in what is becoming our regular checking in with Chucky segment, I welcome Daniel Chucky Barrera to the conversation today. Daniel, welcome. Daniel slash Chucky, welcome. You are just a few days away from your first fight of 2025. Tell us a little about it and talk a little bit about the opponent you'll be facing in this 8 rounder.
Yeah, so I'm super excited, to be back in the ring 2025. We have a good opponent in front of us. He's 10-2. His name's Christopher Rios. We knew eventually we were gonna fight him. We had sparred his brother before, but we knew, when we sparred his brother, we even talked to his team, like eventually they're gonna give us the call, we both know we're gonna go against each other, but it's gonna be an exciting fight. I'm more than prepared, and I just want to win. I want to show people that I'm taking these bigger fights and I'm gonna win in a dominant fashion.
When you start a new year, it's just human tendency. You set goals, you make resolutions, you set out a course for the year. Talk about what you've decided to do in 2025. And there's the one prize I think you've got your eye on.
Yeah, of course. Definitely would like to be prospect of the year this year. That'll be great. We're moving up on the ranks, we're moving up on our fights. So I think we have more than everything to have that title. But also 2025, whatever they throw at me and my team, we'll be ready for. I'm in no rush for a title fight yet. I'm still young. Maybe the next year or in 2 years, whatever is God's plan.
So, what do you think it's going to take? You want to be prospect of the year 2025. What's got to happen?
Think a lot more knockouts. I gotta knock everybody out this year. So that's gonna be the goal, to knock people out this year.
Sounds like a good starter to it. Uh, you're in 8 round fights now. Do you also anticipate maybe going up to the 10 rounders within the next year?
If not at the end of the year, for sure, I would like to move on to the 10 rounders next year. I just feel like I'm built for those long rounds. We've been training hard already for 8 rounds, and I'm starting to get pretty comfortable in there. So we got 4 fights this year, hopefully five. And if we're ready for the 10 rounders in the last fight of the year, then I'm ready for it as well.
And bring it on. Well, if you knock them out, you don't have to really worry about going all 10
Yeah,
rounds.
that's true.
All right? Yeah, exactly. What has been the difference as you shift up in rounds? You went from 6 to 8. You know what that feels like. It doesn't sound to probably the casual observer that that's a big step, but it is a big step. What does it take to do that, and what will it take you to make that next step up?
Definitely a lot more hard work just to be prepared. We're not gonna throw hundreds and hundreds of punches around, but we prepare just in case we have to throw a lot of punches. But being patient with my shots, being intelligent with my shots, and not wasting any punches. I think when you start to miss a lot, that's when you really get exhausted. And I feel like I'm a very high accurate fighter, so I don't tend to miss a lot. And that's what we worked on, is just slowing down the pace when needed to and controlling the pace.
Explain what you mean by that, because when you're, winging those shots and firing off and they don't land, it's a lot more taxing, isn't it? So that accuracy becomes much more focus of your training as a result.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but when you throw a big shot and you miss, it's like getting hit with the body shot. It takes the wind out of you a bit, and then it kind of messes with you mentally. So if you're very accurate, and you feel your punches landing, it's not like they're going to waste. So you keep the same energy and throughout the whole fight.
You are training in Arizona, correct, with Al Franco. How has that
Yes.
worked out for you? You have got to go up to camp away from home. You haven't permanently relocated to Arizona, have you?
No, not yet. But I don't think I plan to. I still would like to be home with my family, spend time with my friends as well. But mainly my family. It gets really hard sometimes, but it's comes with the sport and it's what we have to do.
On the other hand, there's an advantage for a lot of fighters. They do like to remove themselves from the home environment to allow the focus for training. So you were in Arizona with Al, and it sounds like it's been a good partnership and working out well so far.
Yes, we've been doing this since the beginning of my career, and I know that if I was training at home, for cramps, it wouldn't be the same hunger that I have when I'm here. I get more focused here, and it's harder to get out of bed and go do your road work when you're at home in your comfortable bed. When you're out here, you have to do it. That's what
At
you're
least
here for.
Arizona, and you're not somewhere you got to run in the snow or
Yeah.
where it's really tough to get out of bed, which yeah, does absolutely happen when you're out there. On the other hand, you have quite the fan base back at home in California, whether you're in the Los Angeles area or whether like this upcoming fight on Friday, you're going to be back up at Chumash. How has it been for you to develop that big fan base? You must have regulars now that come to see you every time.
Oh yeah, it's super exciting actually knowing that a lot of regulars, a lot of people that I recognize at Chumash now, I think I've grown a lot more fan bases there as well, just because, I've been there fighting most of the last year. One time I think in Commerce, but I love the Chumash crowd. They've been treating me well, and the Chumash people and even my fans, they've been driving 3 hours or more just to see me fight. So I'm super grateful for them, but also the fans in LA, it's such a good crowd. It's a bigger crowd. They love the fight scene, so it's fun as well.
I think that fans that are outside California and Southern California don't understand the passion for boxing that's built in here among the fans. Talk a little about that. Come when you get to come home and get in front of those fans.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't expect it, but like you said, familiar faces all the time in Commerce, actually in LA. And then people will be like, "Oh, what's up, Chucky?" And they greet me after the fight, and like if they've seen me many times, multiple times already, and I recognize them, but I don't really get their name. That's the only bad part. But it's exciting. They come watch me on a regular basis, and it's super fun. And for them to be loyal to me as a fan is exciting.
It's important at this stage of your career, isn't it, to feel that fan base responding to you. You know you're doing the right thing, and you're suffering a lot to get where you are by choice, but the acknowledgement of the fans must be motivating. More
Oh
than
yeah.
they know.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing my social media and, like I say, when I go to the fights, after the fights, the more people that recognize me, it's even more exciting. And hearing the crowd get louder and louder at each fight is even more exciting and motivating is for me as well.
Still fun to get somebody to ask for a photo or a shout out, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's super exciting. There's times even in Rancho Cucamonga where I usually stay around since I live in Eastville or Ontario, wherever I'm at. Even LA, I've been caught in. They stop me and ask me for a photo or how I'm doing, stuff like that. And it's like I get shocked because it's like you wouldn't think, you know, people really recognize you, and it happens that they do.
Well, if you're going to be prospect of the year, you're going to start knowing who you are more and more and more. Yeah.
Hopefully, that's the plan for this year.
It's a very ambitious goal, but there's nothing wrong with goal setting, is there? You also talked about the importance of patience, right? Patience with yourself, your career, and so forth. And, I know you've got that sideline of getting out on the golf course. I mean, like right now, I'm in San Diego. Nice day. Could be golfing here today. But golf is a form of cross training for you. Talk a little about that, how that is factoring into your preparation.
Yeah, so I try to golf as much time as I can when I'm off of training, just because during training I don't really have that much time, but it's really fun and relaxing for me. Like I said before, I believe it teaches me patience. Just because if you try to rush into a shot or try to rush into your swing, never goes right. But the same thing with your career, if you try to rush into an opponent like for a title fight or anything like that, it never goes well for the most part. So just being patient and then seeing the resemblance and like how you move your hips and stuff with throwing a punch is kind of very much the same too.
I don't think people would really connect the two very well, but perhaps because it is a completely different sport, completely different muscle memory. It's got to teach you a lot of things you can't get in a boxing gym.
Most definitely. Yeah. Like especially with boxing, like when you tense up and try to throw everything with power, you get tired fast. And when you tense up and try to swing hard, ball goes not in the direction you want it to. So it's actually very similar in certain ways. I feel like.
What's the best part of your golf game? What's your best asset when
Mm,
you play golf?
I'd say my short game. My short game, 100 yards and in. Yeah.
That's kind of surprises me. Now, is that or any similarity between your short game and what you would consider your best assets in the boxing ring?
Mm, no, I don't think so. I don't think because my best thing in boxing is my footwork and my jab, and you know, with there I'm just swinging smooth and slow, and I have to be fast with my jabs and my footwork, so they don't correlate at all.
So what are people going to see this Friday? You have an opponent who you know or you know of. We aren't going to ask about giving away any, game plan secrets or anything like that. But what will your approach be as you're kicking off your 2025 Prospect of the Year campaign?
You guys are gonna see a great fight. I'm coming to win, and I've prepared really well. So, hopefully you guys see me very explosive, very aggressive. And, I just want to dominate the whole fight, and I believe we will. If we don't knock him out, we will dominate and we will win unanimously.
What's Coach Franco telling you?
Same thing. He says it just let's dominate him, and if we can get him out of there, let's get him out of there. But if not, then we're gonna just put a schooling on him.
Well, we're going to look forward to seeing it, your first appearance of 2025, and that is on Friday, yes, on UFC Fight
Yes.
Pass.
Yes.
All right, folks, that's Daniel Chucky Barrera, and he's going to be watching for you to watch him this Friday.